my team.
What'd you do? All right, for the jury. Officers, President and Counsel.
Thank you. All right, go ahead, Mr. Steele.
Your Honor, I'd like to play Jeffrey Williams, or JW 249. It's at 54448 to 54516 from Fox 5 stream of this trial.
Did you provide us your phone number so we can get your phone records, Mr. Copeland?
Which phone?
The phone you had in 2015, did you give police your phone number so we can get your phone records?
I don't recall. Now you're talking about.
Did you give police your phone number in any of these interviews so that we can get your phone records?
Which phone?
Your phone that you had back in 2015.
I had more than one phone.
Okay.
Is that audible? Mr. Copeland, that's you testifying before this jury, August 12, 2024, where you explained that you had multiple phones on January 10, 2015. Does that sound right?
That's what it said.
Okay. Did the district attorney's office, did the federal authorities, did homicide detective Thorpe, Detective Dennis, Detective Gaither, anybody, Agent Cunningham, anybody in law enforcement, did they ever seek to get a warrant, a search warrant for your other phone or phones?
Speculation. Sustained.
Did you ever get served with a search warrant, a warrant, or even asked to give the police your other phones or the district attorney's office?
No.
I'm going to show you and play for you, with the court's permission, Jeffrey Williams or JW 244D, as in David, State's Exhibit number 378, YB as in Barry. Your Honor, that's the January 28, 2015 meeting or interrogation. It's at 7:12:03 p.m. to 7:12:43 p.m. And this discusses, Mr. Copeland, just make sure I'm right, that you and your brother made a false report of who's driving a vehicle because you had a suspended license. If you can listen to that, make sure that's what that's about.
So I jumped back in the car. We rolled. Got up on Lakewood. Got back on the freeway. Went to the house, told my brother. He didn't get tried to kill.
Why you had your brother file a police report?
Cause I ain't got a license.
You still a victim though, like
They still lock me up.
bro, if you ain't in the car, listen, if you ain't driving the car when we get there, we're not gonna waste our time on lock you up to drive with because now you didn't kind of, now you didn't kind of sway the investigation that y'all made a false police report. Now I ain't trying to lock y'all up for that shit, but if we get some evidence or get a gun or something to match shell cases or whatever like that, it's kind of like you threw the investigation off by having your brother take the report. You know what I'm saying? Like at that.
Is that pretty much what it discusses, Mr. Copeland?
Huh?
Is that what it discusses? What you're discussing with the detectives, you had your brother file a report, a false police report. Is that what it's discussing?
Right.
Okay. And you understood on January 10, 2015, that the cell phone that you told the police about would show an approximate location, right?
Huh?
The cell phone that you had on that desk in front of Detective Thorpe that you told the police about, that would show an approximate location of where the cell phone was, right?
I don't know. I don't get what you're saying.
Okay, it's me. I apologize. When you were with Detective Thorpe on January 11th, 2015, about 7-8 hours after Mr. Thomas was shot, okay? And you brought with that phone, you brought that phone with you? If that phone was with somebody else and not you, at the time of Donovan Thomas's shooting, the police didn't have all your phones, right? Well, you didn't give, I'll correct.
Just rephrase it. It was kind of
Sure.
confusing.
You didn't give the police all your cell phones that you had with you or access to on January 10th, 2015, but you did show one phone. True?
He didn't. I don't even think he wanted my phone.
Okay. All right. Now, did the police ever come to you? When I say police, I'm including everybody, or the district attorney's office, come to you and inquire of you, ask you, your phone shows no calls between 7:01 at night and 7:23 or 24 at night on the night Donovan Thomas was shot. Did they ever ask you to explain or why there are no calls during that time? Did they ever discuss that with you?
They don't tell me nothing.
Okay. All right. I'd like to go to the next recording. And this is Jeffrey Williams 24 or JW 240L, as in laughter, states exhibit number 378Y, E as in Aaron. Your Honor, this is June 10th, 2015. And Mr. Copeland, June 10th, 2015 interrogation meeting. It's at 9:55:46 a.m. to 9:56:01 a.m. And it is you, I believe, and you make sure, saying that you called Jeffrey Williams from the green store. And it's something like this. You said, all right, so I walk up on my brother's house. Hey, bruh, let me see your car real quick. He gives me the car. Boom. I get in the car. I pull up at the green store. When I got to the green store, this is what I did. I called Thug. I ain't called D right then and there. Detective says, and you say, I called Thug. He ain't answer. I'd like you to listen, make sure that that's correct, okay?
All right. So I'm on my brother's house. I run to the car right quick and give me the car. I get the car, pull up at the green store. When I got to the green store, they were like, I called Thug. I ain't called you right there. I called Thug. He ain't answer.
Mr. Copeland, did the police or the district attorney's office ever come to you and ask you on your phone records whether it supported or did not support that you called Jeffrey Williams from around the green store on or around the time Donovan Thomas was shot?
I don't know what you. I don't. Ask me again.
Yes, sir. Did the police or the district attorney's office ever come to you and ask you to explain your cell records, your cell phone records, and ask you about this comment that you called Jeffrey from around the green store at around the time of Donovan Thomas's killing? Did they ever do that with you?
Can you ask me short so I can catch it? It's too long for me.
No, it's my bad. It's my fault. I apologize. Did the police ever share with you, or the district attorney's office go over with you your cell phone records that they may have? Did they ever do that?
No.
Okay. Going back to 2014, going into 2015, you met Jeffrey Williams for a short period of time that you were, my word would be hanging out with him, but that's a bad word, that you were in his company and he was in your company, a short period of time. Is that fair to say?
Right.
And when you met him, you already said that he was very popular.
Yes.
True. And is it true that that you observed, he was trying to help people like you, but other people too, to get jobs, like legitimate jobs.
What you mean?
Recording studios.
No, I'm saying I don't get what you're asking me.
Okay, let me ask it a different way. So forget about what I said. When you met Jeffrey, did you witness him trying to get people to have a legitimate job? A legitimate just means a job at a recording studio, make music, trying to help people.
I can't speak for other people, but he tried to help me.
Okay. And when you knew him for the period of time, we're really talking about like between your birthdays. Do you know Jeffrey Williams' birthday by any chance? And if you don't, that's fine.
Well, now I do, but
You didn't back then? Okay.
I didn't. Yeah.
Is it fair to say that you and he knew each other, but like after your birthday in July of 2014 and really stopped because you were in custody anyway, by July 2015? That's the period of time that you knew each other? Is that true?
No, I didn't. From 2014, I met him like at the end of 2014.
And then you already told the jury, but you got locked up a lot. The police kept locking you up in January, February, March, April, May, and then June. You were locked up in federal custody for 51 months. True?
Yes.
Okay. And that's really the only period that you knew Jeffrey. It's
Yeah.
the only time that you were around him or he was around you. True?
Well, really, we wasn't even together every day. I was out in the neighborhood.
So when the state is asking, like, you questioned about, you were so close with him, what you really did was you'd go to a studio, he'd let you come to a studio. True?
Yes. I was going with somebody else.
Yeah. You went originally with a gentleman I know as Mr. Trontavious Stevens. Do you know that name?
Yes.
Is that also Slug and Tick?
I
Same
know.
person?
I called him Tick. Yeah.
Okay. And that's how you first were introduced to be around Jeffrey Williams. True?
I think so.
And then you would see him, he'd allow you, and when I say allow you, I mean, it was okay. It allowed a lot of people to go to his shows, right?
I think Tick invited me out.
Okay. And that was really your relationship with, and he would take pictures with you if you wanted to, and he wanted to. True?
Yeah, I asked.
Yeah. And you put that on social media. You were promoting Jeffrey, and you liked that.
He give me, yeah.
And it gave you a little bit of maybe
No, a
fame.
lot.
Okay. Gave you a lot of fame. True?
Yeah.
And you were trying to launch your own career as a musical artist at that time. True?
I was trying to find myself.
Okay. Later, though, you did try to, and you did launch your career as a musical artist, right?
Well, I going back to jail, they started locking me back up.
You were trying to do that, though. You were trying to do
I tried it.
Yes. You had a manager.
Huh?
You had a manager.
Yes, I had a lot of stuff.
Yeah. They were controlling your social media feeds, etc.
Yes.
True. Okay. You put out music videos. True?
Well, my manager and them did.
Sure. But you were featured. You were starred.
Right.
It was your music.
Right.
Okay. Jeffrey never had the pleasure of having you featured in one of his songs. Is that true?
No, I ain't never been in his song.
Okay. And Jeffrey never was featured in one of your songs. Is that true?
No, me and him don't have music together.
All right. But he did put you in one song of his. You know the song Halftime?
I'm listening.
Do you remember the line, and I'm not saying this a quote, but something effective, if you mess with me, Woody will come up and pop you in the noggin. And if that's not a quote, I'm not trying to misquote it, but that's what is that something like what it says in that song?
Yeah.
And the song is Halftime, right?
Yes.
Wildly popular song.
Yes.
And the police, when that song was released, the police seized on that to use it against you, basically. You knew that, right?
Sustained.
From your vantage point, and what that means is you learned that the police was using that song. They asked you about that song.
No, they told me.
Yeah.
One of them told me that I think I had got out, shit. I got out one of the jails and they got me the next day. And they were like, yeah, man, now you're at the top of our radar. It was something like, he pissed me off when he said it.
He being the detective.
No, it wasn't no detective, it was the police.
Okay. The police officer upset you when they
I think it was Dennis that said it. It was one of them that said it to me.
Okay. Now, that's the only time you're mentioned in one of Jeffrey's songs. Is that true?
What you mean?
There's not another song that Jeffrey, to your knowledge, mentions you.
Yes.
Okay. And Halftime, you know this, was made in 2000. It wasn't released till 2015, but it was made in 2014. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
It's an old song.
And there's no truth to that lyric that you would pop somebody in the noggin for Jeffrey. Am I right?
I would never.
Okay. I want to go back to what we talked about earlier, that Jeffrey was in fact this is, by the way, Your Honor, this is JW, Jeffrey Williams, 241B, as in Barry, States Exhibit 378Y, A as in Elisa. It's at 3:16:50 a.m. to 3:16:56 a.m. And this is January 28th, 2015 meeting or interview or interrogation with the police. Okay, Mr. Copeland, I'd like you to listen to this about things were good with Jeffrey. If you could just listen to this.
Defense counsel, January 20th. I think this is the January 11th interview.
You are, and thank you very much. I apologize, Your Honor. It's Mr. Copeland, it's January 11th, 2015 with Detective Thorpe. Same time.
I was cool with him at first. When Thorpe showed up, George started letting me hang and put me out in his songs and videos.
You were telling Detective Thorpe that Jeffrey was cool with Mr. Thomas, right?
I guess.
And that's the truth, though, right?
I don't know. I'm saying I can't hear what I said in the video.
Okay, how about this? From your observations, Jeffrey was on good terms with Donovan Thomas.
I don't think I ever seen them two. I can't remember being around both of them at one time.
You never saw them dap each other up?
I'm saying I don't think I've been around with. I don't think I've been around like if I never seen them. I don't think I've been around with both of them in the same place. If that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
I don't remember. I can't remember seeing both of them in the same place.
Okay. I want to talk with you about what you told the detectives. It's June 10, 2015. And this is when you're telling the detectives you're at the McDonald's and D gets into your car. I want to talk to you about this. This is JW or Jeffrey Williams 240M as in Magic, States Exhibit number 378, YE as in Aaron, 2:45 p.m. to 2:46 p.m. And you say to the police, SHI blank, I just heard D got in the car and he was like, they just killed him. Or he like, yeah. He like, boy, they killed Nut. Detective Thorpe said, who he say killed Nut? You said, I'm telling you. Like my heart started pounding. Like who? He was like, them? And then Nard got in the car. He shut up talking. So we get riding. I'm like, where the HELL we going, but he told me that I was already trying to get the HELL away from them. So Moonton FaceTimed me. He like, boy, you know old boy just got shot, right? They saying, boy, he just might not make it. I'm like, who? He like, nut. I'm like, huh? Man, he trying. He like, SHI, boy, you know they could scream. You know they could scream out a name, right? Man, boy, I ain't got nothing to do with it. So SHI, I'm like, man, my head started hurting instantly. I got off the phone with him. So we following behind them. We dropped. That's when we dropped them at Thug's house. They was in the car, in the first car. So when we pulled up, I want you to listen to this and tell me if that's what we're talking about. Excuse me.
So I just heard the guy call you like they killed him. Yeah, he like, boy, they killed Nut. When you say killed Nut, I'm like, my heart started pounding like who? He like damn. And then another guy in the car, he shut up top. So we get around. I'm like, where they was going? But when he told me that, I was already trying to get ahead away from him. So I moved to FaceTime, he like, but you know, old boy, they got shot. I was saying, boy, his head might not make it. I'm like, who? He like, Nut. I'm like, him. Man, he like, shit, well, you know they feel scream, out of name, right? Man, well, I ain't got nothing to do with it. So shit, I like, man, my head started instantly. I got off on him. So we fight behind him, we drop him. Then we pull up his thug.
Mr. Copeland, did the district attorney's office or anybody in law enforcement, an agent with the FBI who's a cell phone expert or any of the police, did they ever go over with you where your cell phone that you told them about was traveling from the McDonald's area towards Jeffrey's home on January 10th, 2015? Did they ever ask you about that to explain it?
No.
Now, when you were trying to, or you put out some of your music, I want to talk to you about that if I can, okay? Now, do you remember putting out a song and a music video entitled Homicide?
Yeah.
And Jeffrey had nothing to do with that song or music video. Is that true?
I started doing music with somebody else.
Okay. And one of the people that you started to do music with, and he's shown in your video to Homicide, is a gentleman named Mr. Turner, or you referred to him as Threat. Is that true?
Yeah.
And in the music video Homicide that you put out, would you recognize that music video if it was shown to you?
It's my video?
Yeah, of course.
It's mine.
Okay. I'd like to show you, and Your Honor, move into evidence, Jeffrey Williams, number 243B, as in Barry, and it's a music video by Mr. Copeland. Now, I want to ask you a couple of questions about that, okay, Mr. Copeland? I'd like to show it first and then ask you some questions, okay?
All right.
Yeah. First, I think he needs to show it to the witness.
I think there's a proper
Why don't you just
foundation.
show a tiny
Okay.
little clip and see if he recognizes
Mr. Kokomo, with the court's permission, is approaching.
You may.
Thank you. Mr. Kokomo, just do me a favor. When Mr. Kokomo comes to you, just watch this for as long as you need.
Just to see whether you recognize it as the music video that is Homicide.
Wait, you have to show it to the state first. They have it, but just show it.
Is this all on the
4 minutes.
drive or whatever that you provided already?
Yes.
So then they.
And Your Honor, I misspoke. It's JW243C, as in Colette, is not B.
Okay.
Yeah, in my video.
And Mr. Kokomo, I heard what you said. I'm going to repeat it. If it's not what you said, just correct me. That is, you recognize it as your video.
Yeah, I shot that video.
Okay. Your Honor, I move into evidence. I'd like to play Jeffrey Williams 243C, as in Colette.
Relevance, Your Honor.
What's the relevance?
I believe that there is an indication of an image of that appears to be like Mr. Donovan Thomas, and threat is in the video as well as Mr. Copeland.
All right. Can we just maybe zoom to those parts
Sure.
and do those little parts instead of the entirety of it?
Yeah.
Unless the entirety of it's relevant.
No.
Okay.
We can
Thank you.
absolutely do it. I move for the admission of everything, but for purposes of
Sure.
expedition.
All right.
Okay.
It's admitted.
And I would just need Mr. Kokomo, Your Honor, to announce what time he is
Okay.
playing, if that's okay. Or you could tell. Your Honor, Mr. Kokomo said starting at 41 seconds. May I just look and see what he's playing?
Sure. Yes.
We would like to play, with the court's permission, I know it's in evidence, but 40:34 through 40:50 first, and then it's going to be stopped, and then 3:56:02 to the end.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, matter of fact, he's calling right now.
Say, twin, we got that fuck nigga y'all been looking for.
Where y'all at? Where you at?
We at the spot.
Man, she got it right now. We on the way right now.
All right. They on the way now, little bro.
And if you can go back, Mr. Kokomo, for the jurors, Mr. Copeland, I'd just like to explain some things. The person right there in the black, Okay, in the black shirt with the red-looking bow tie and the red vest on the cell phone. You see that person? Can you tell the jurors who that is?
Threat.
And I heard you, but your hands are over your mouth. Do you mind just
I
telling
said
me?
that threat.
Okay. And then if you go back a little bit, Mr. Kokomo. And Mr. Kokomo, what time is that we just announced? 53:58, Your Honor, is what we were just talking about. And if you just go back a little bit more. Keep going back just a little bit more. Right up. Go just ahead right there. And Mr. Copeland at 4094. Is it fair to say that's you?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to go to 56:02. That's wrong. 3 minutes, 56 seconds, 02 to the end.
Triple cross, cause that boy is speaking to the boss. Me and what it could I do, we and what it costs. We ain't take no loss. Homicide, we're gonna.
Mr. Copeland, do you remember telling District Attorney Hilton before June 7, 2024, that's the first time the jurors ever saw you come into the courtroom? Judge Glanville was the judge at that time, and you invoked the Fifth Amendment. That's the day I'm talking about, so before that day, okay? Am I losing you? Because I'm not trying to. I lost you?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're finished with the exhibit. Can you take it down?
Yeah.
Before, I'm sorry.
You finished with it?
For now, I'm going to go
Okay.
back to it. Before the first time the jurors saw you testify, on a Friday, June 7, 2024, before that, do you remember telling District Attorney Hilton that you made a video admitting to killing Donovan Thomas? Do you remember saying that?
Huh?
Do you remember saying on social media or otherwise that you made a video or a statement that you admitted to killing Donovan Thomas? Do you remember saying that?
Objection, mischaracterization of evidence. Not even mischaracterization.
I don't know how to rule on that.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have anything in front of me.
That's fine. Let me get the, can I have 1 second?
Yeah, it's not an evidentiary objection, by the way.
While they're pulling up, I'm going to ask you another question. On what we just saw on Jeffrey Williams 243C, that man who had money on his head and then was shot in the video, remember that on the homicide video? Did that have anything in your mind to do with Donovan Thomas?
I don't get what you're asking me.
When you did that video, did that have anything in your mind to do with the killing of Donovan Thomas?
No.
Okay. It's just a video, a music video?
Yeah, just a video.
Now, when part of your what you try to give out to the public is that you are a real gangster. Is that true?
Huh?
Do you remember giving an interview on the porch interview? Do you remember that?
Off the porch?
Off the porch, yes, sir. Do you remember doing that interview?
I remember doing it, but I don't remember what I said.
Okay. Do you remember saying that you are a real gangster, but other people are just musicians? They just play gangsters. Do you remember saying something like that?
You got to show me.
All right. Mr. Kokomo, this is Your Honor, Jeffrey Williams, 246. It's April 29, 2020, off the porch interview with Mr. Copeland. And the relevant times are going to be 5 minutes, 4 seconds, 5 minutes, 12 seconds, 8 minutes, 59 seconds to 9 minutes, 7 seconds.
I remember I said, I don't know what he's talking about.
Sorry, Mr. Copeland. Do you remember that video, the off the porch interview?
I remember, but I don't remember what was said.
Okay. Was that you in that video that was shown to you?
In that picture he showed me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you need to hear what was said? Did Mr. Kokomo play that for you?
No, he just showed me a picture and walked off.
Mr. Kokomo, would you just show Mr. Copeland the relevant portions, 504, and you can listen to any of it, 504 to 512 and 859 to 907. Mr. Copeland, just listen to this yourself, please. They have it. Just say.
That's it.
That's you during your interview or part of it?
Yeah.
Okay. Your Honor, I move for the admission of Jeffrey Williams 246 specifically, and I don't care if the whole interview's in, but specifically the times I announced, Your Honor.
Your Honor, we're objecting based on improper character, and we can approach for some other matters, Your Honor.
All right. Instead of approaching, because I haven't seen this before, so I'm gonna need to see it as well. I'm gonna excuse y'all to the jury room. And if you can
I step out too.
find out. Yes, for now, but stay
Be
close.
right there.
And I may end up just sending you to lunch, but not yet. If I'm gonna do that, I'll send word. Okay, so just step to the jury room for now. All right, I know there was an improper character objection. Whose character?
At this point, it seems like Mr. Steele is implying for the witness about him being a gangster. It sounds like he's going down a line of a some other dude did it defense, especially speaking about threat and the homicide video, and then this video, this on the porch video of Mr. Copeland speaking about being a gangster. We think that there's a this is more prejudicial than probative, substantially more prejudicial than probative. And so those are the basis for our objections.
And so whose character are you alleging it's improperly impugning?
Mr. Copeland's.
Okay. Let me see what you're planning to play.
So at the end of the day, I got a story to tell.
Yeah.
You want to listen to it? Or you gonna keep listening to these niggas that ain't did nothing gangster, nothing tougher day in their life? So. To hear so many people like it just build my confidence. I mean, because I had a pride thing, like, I don't want to be labeled as nothing but a gangster. So you look at me anything other than that, you got a problem. I'm going to slap the shit out of you. But whenever...
I overrule those objections.
It'll be very short, Your Honor.
Okay, and I'm going to have the jury back. Ms. Persfield, apparently one of the jurors, she was not hospitalized, but she had to visit the hospital last night. And she has indicated through an email that she may need an early break today. Her doctor's excuse had cleared her for going back to work as of tomorrow, but she didn't want to throw us all off in the morning, so she came today, but we may have to break early, and Ms. Persfield's just kind of finding out a little bit more detail. So I'm going to let her come back and let me know what's going on, and then we'll determine kind of where to go from here. So we'll just kind of recess in place. Okay, and Mr. Copeland as well.
We're breaking.
Well, if this will be a clean kind of place for us to stop, sure.
It'll be fine.
Okay.
Any way you say will be fine.
be easy. Let him go for lunch. I think they're all doing their bathroom break now. So. Mr. Steele, just, stop wherever you want. I mean, if you've got 15 more minutes or 20 more minutes or whatever before the next natural break, that's fine.
Okay.
John Alger is the president of county.
All right, thank you very much. Go ahead, Mr. Steele.
Okay. Your Honor, with the court's permission, I'd like to publish to the jury Jeffrey Williams or JW 246, specifically the time frame 5:04 through 5:12. And Mr. Copeland, if you could listen to it, and I just want to ask you some questions, okay?
All right.
You might need your earplugs if you want to use them.
At the end of the day, I got a story to tell.
Yeah.
You want to listen to it? Or you keep listening to these niggas that ain't did nothing gangster, nothing tougher than they life. So.
Were the people around you?
Mr. Copeland, are we able to hear what you said during that interview?
Yeah, I heard it.
And you don't need me to explain. Tell the jurors what you were saying to the interviewer.
What you mean?
What was
I getting at?
Yeah, can you tell the jurors, please?
Well, I did an interview, and I got to hear the question that he asked me.
Okay, let me ask you this. Some jurors may not know what off the porch is. Can you tell them what that is?
It's they interview rappers, upcoming rappers, and ask questions about the music and your background and stuff like that. That's what you asked?
Yeah. And this was done approximately April 29, 2020. Do you remember that?
It was done. I don't know when.
Do you remember it was done during COVID, if that matters at all?
Before I went back to jail.
Okay. And in that segment, the jurors heard it, but you're explaining that you're a real gangster, not these other people who are pretending. That I'm not saying that's a quote, but something like that. That's what you were discussing, or you said. Is that true?
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to, and you discussed Jeffrey Williams in this. If you remember, I could play for you, but if you remember off the porch interview, is that true?
All right.
You said he was like a role model. He blew up, or whatever the right word is. True?
Well, he showed us that it was real.
I'd like to show you, or play for you, if you don't mind. You might need your earpiece again. This is 8:59 to 9:07. I'm going to ask you the same type of questions. Just what did you say? What did you mean? I'm going to ask you the same type of questions. What did you say and what did you mean? All right. Same thing.
Because I had a pride thing. Like, I don't want to be labeled as nothing but a gangster. So you look at me anything other than that, you got a problem. I'm going to slap the shit out of you. But whenever I...
Did you hear that? You hear what you said?
I think we all heard.
Yeah. And what you're expressing is that's what you want people to look at you as. That you're tough.
Nah, I just wanted people to know. Not to look at me. I wanted them to know.
That you're tough.
I ain't tough. I just ain't scared.
All right. Now, you also put on your social media, I think the state showed it to you, but let me get the exhibit number.
You better play some?
Well, let me show you something before. Is that okay? Just give me one
second.
second.
I'm just trying to see. I didn't hear you.
Let's go back to that interview for just 1 second. Do you remember at the first part of the interview saying that these other people are not real gangsters? That's what you said, right? I think I asked it actually. So
no, that's what I said.
Okay. All right. On your social media, give me 1 second, okay? Your Honor, may I just go back?
Yeah.
This is exhibit number Jeffrey Williams, 236B, as in Barry. And with the court's permission, can Mr. Kokomo just show it to Mr. Copeland?
I'm sorry, is this the same one? The off the porch? This is a different one. Did you say 236B this time? Okay. Sorry, I didn't know if you said 246. So
46 was the last one.
That's what I thought. So wasn't sure whether we were talking about the same one or a different one. All right. Yeah, he may. 236B. Is that what you said? Mr. Steele B.
236B is correct.
Okay.
Did you see that, Mr. Copeland? Do you recognize that as your social media account at one time?
Yeah.
Okay. Your Honor, I move for the admission of Mr. Williams, and it's 236B, as in Barrett.
It's admitted.
Can Mr. Kokomo please display, Your Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Copeland, I apologize. I want to go through this with you just for a minute, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And when I say this, I'm talking about JW, Jeffrey Williams, Exhibit 236B, as in Barry. That's a picture of you on the left-hand side. Do you remember where you were in that picture?
In the back of a Rolls Royce.
And do you remember whose Rolls Royce that would be?
It was a rental.
One more time.
A renter.
Okay. Do you know who rented it?
No.
Okay. And then it says 725 _ WODY, and then it has Georgia Most Wanted with 2 emoji green snakes. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
and it says that you're an artist, or it says artist, the word artist, right? True? Is that right?
Yeah.
And then underneath it says, I came from nothing with a period. You see that?
Yeah, I see it.
And I came from nothing. Do you know that to be a series of Jeffrey's music?
What you mean?
Do you know whether Jeffrey Williams ever put out music? I came from nothing.
Yeah.
1, 2. Okay. And is that where that comes from? And if not, that's fine. I'm just asking you, were you inspired by
That's where it came from.
Okay. And when it says Georgia's Most Wanted, you're aware that you were deemed by the federal authorities as 12 most dangerous people in Atlanta. Is that true?
I was?
Yeah.
Objection, speculation.
I'm asking you.
Well, I mean, it's not speculation, but he's answered that he didn't seem to know.
Let me show you. Tell me whether this refreshes your memory.
Objection, Your Honor. This is
What's the number? Exhibit number?
What's the objection?
this is nothing that he can authenticate.
Okay, there's an authentication objection.
Well,
Is that the only objection?
Irrelevance. And if we can approach him, we can show you the exhibit.
You may. Let's go ahead and send the jury to watch them. And we'll deal with this while y'all go to lunch. Let's be back at 1:15, please.
You said 1:15?
1:15. Okay. Is your intent to show that entire thing with the whatever that heading is?
I was going to, Your Honor, if Mr. Copeland can recognize it, I was going to admit it into evidence, and it is from, we received in discovery from the state, and it's Operation Phoenix, and it's the authorities announced on October 29th, 2020, charges for the 12 most violent offenders in Operation Phoenix, and I was going to show that to him.
All right, and
then he has that on his Instagram, or I shouldn't say Instagram. It's a social media account.
and when's that social media post from?
That is, it's in his, oh, I'm being told the answer. It's in his biography or bio.
I can't hear what he's saying, but
He's saying it's in the social media biography of Mr. or bio of Mr. Copeland. I don't know the date personally, Your Honor.
okay. And how is any of whatever, whomever authority this was might have thought in October of 2020 relevant to the issues that we're talking about right now with Mr. Copeland?
I believe it's relevant because the state is saying that Jeffrey Williams governs this person. That's their whole theory. Tells them to go out. They're using one lyric from one song. Jeffrey Williams, as the court may not know, has thousands of songs that Woody's going to pop you in the noggin. That is the quote. And I want to show that they hardly knew each other. They knew each other for a short period of time. Mr. Copeland did not commit crimes with Jeffrey Williams. Jeffrey Williams encouraged Mr. Copeland to conduct himself lawfully. That was on a jail call that we heard yesterday. In fact, included on that, Jeffrey Williams, through his sisters, saying, get out of the streets, you have a child, you don't have to live that life. And I want to show that Mr. Copeland ignored all of that. And after he has no contact, he has zero contact with Jeffrey Williams, he is still putting on his social media that he is a gangster, or one of Georgia's most wanted. He is by the prosecution. These are federal authorities, by the way. So when I say prosecution, I'm talking about the federal authorities, deemed him one of the 12 most violent offenders in Georgia in 2020. And he has done a interview with Off the Porch in April 2020, where he's stating that he's a real gangster, the other people are not, and that if you disagree with that, he's going to, straighten you out, basically. So I think that's all important to the jurors, because it will hopefully undress this wrong impression, in my opinion, strongly wrong impression, that the state is putting up, that somehow this man is all around Jeffrey Williams, knows what he says, knows what he's thinking, he overhears him on conversations, and Jeffrey Williams is there when the police keep calling Kenneth Copeland. It just, in my opinion, and hopefully the cross-examination, that just wasn't their relationship. So. Okay,
well, most of what you mentioned already has already been put before the jury, and this particular exhibit does not in any way shed any light on whether Mr. Copeland is or is not close with Mr. Williams. And I just do not see the relevance of it, particularly given that he said he didn't know that that's what law enforcement thought of him.
Okay.
So I'm going to sustain that objection.
I understand. Okay. We will move on.
Okay, so let's all break for lunch.
Can I just give this then it's on the thumb drive, of course, but can I just give this to the court reporter? It's the print, unless you don't want it.
No, yeah, that's fine.
But I understand it's not in evidence.
Correct.
In fact, you mind, because it's going to be a lot of, has right not admitted into evidence on it? Or,
that's fine.
Okay.
Excluded.
And you're on before written, and step up for the prosecution.
Yes. What? Go let y'all all know the question and the answer.
Your Honor, Mr. Steele has provided to us in that Dropbox link an exhibit that I assume he may intend to use with Mr. Copeland, and it's going to be Exhibit 236A. It's a Instagram posting. I believe the posting may have been on June 27th of this year, in which Mr. Copeland appears post he is an innocent man in real life. The demons that has been on me at certain times in my life had full control. And he goes on, I think I know who he is the innocent man that he might be referencing, Your Honor. I'm not sure how this is going to come out during Mr. Copeland's cross-examination. However, the state's concern would be the initial part of he is an innocent man, and that's invading on the province of the jury, depending on what he is innocent of, or determining from this post what he may or may not be innocent of. I'll cite the court to Fordham v. State, which is 352 Georgia Appeals 520.
From what year?
2019, Your Honor.
Okay.
And essentially that Georgia law generally precludes a witness from testifying.
Slow down.
Sorry.
Georgia law what?
Generally precludes a witness from testifying as to his or her opinion regarding an ultimate issue in the case, because to do so would invade the province of the jury. And so if you're trying to say he's an innocent man, that could be perceived that you're trying to invade what the jury ultimately has to decide about Mr. William or any of the defendants' guilt or innocence. And so I'm just bringing to the court's attention. I don't know how it's going to come in, but that is the state's concern regarding this posting.
Mr. Steele.
Your Honor, I could get a case, but lay people, by the way, can comment on an essential element if it's their observation, A, but B, it's for impeachment. I believe that Mr. Copeland, and I don't know what he's going to say. I have not spoken with him, but I believe that he has targeted Mr. Williams in that posting on June 27, 2024, saying that my conscience caught up with me and he's an innocent person. I believe that that can go to the jury the way it was said. I don't see any problem with that. It's a prior inconsistent statement because he's telling the jurors through 2015 video, audio, that Mr. Williams is the reason that the person's dead. Mr. Williams gave the order to kill Mr. Copeland, that all these people work for Mr. Williams. So I believe that it's critical, his state of mind. And the jurors obviously go to weight. I understand there's a 9-year difference, but it goes to weight.
Okay, so how is this a prior inconsistent statement? This was made subsequent to everything that I may just not be following you.
I understand. Prior inconsistent statement is anything prior to the trial of the case, but I could get you that case.
Okay, well, this is in the midst of the trial of the case.
Prior to testimony.
It's not prior to all of his testimony either.
I don't think it matters. You know, if he said to someone on the way in here, hey, what I said on the 2015 about being at the green store is not true, that comes in for impeachment. I asked him about it, then I could put up the person who he said it to. It does not matter. It's a prior statement that is inconsistent with what he said. So I feel very comfortable that that is the law. I tell him
it's not a prior statement. It can't possibly be a prior inconsistent statement if it's not a prior statement. This is not a statement he made prior to any of his 2015 statements to law enforcement.
Let me get you the case, but It does not have to be prior to the statement that you're impeaching. It's a prior statement of that witness. He made a prior statement on June 27, 2024. That is inconsistent with his previous statements, but I can get you those cases.
Okay, I don't know that it's inconsistent with his trial testimony, though. He's testified at trial. Everything I said to the police, I just said it because I wanted to get out of there, and none of it was true. So this is not inconsistent with that either.
Well, it is for two reasons. I believe it's admissible. One, he's saying that what he said was about an innocent person, which is different than I just wanted to get out. So I was saying some truth and some non-truth. And second, it impeaches his 2015 statements.
It may do that.
And that's admissible. But let me get you a case instead of just me saying it's prior inconsistent statement.
Okay.
Let me just get you a case.
All right. Was there an objection other than
Yes, Your Honor, because I don't believe it's a prior inconsistent statement based upon his testimony in trial. He made this post the beginning of his testimony. So he made this post, if it's on June 27th, he started testifying initially on June 6th. June 7th. Before and he testified all the way up until June 17th, prior to, that testimony not being included. And this is after that on the 24th, which this is consistent with what he said on the stand repeatedly to this jury over and over and over again, that I lied on Thug. Thug hasn't done anything.
I was just asking you, did you have an objection beyond or in addition to that? I didn't know if that was everything you were saying or.
That's it. Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And then, Mr. Shart, did you have something?
Your Honor, it is my belief that Mr. Steele plans to play a phone call that Mr. Copeland is on with his sister. I believe it's marked Jeffrey Williams 250B. My concern is from 1605 to 1629. There is a comment made by who I believe to be Mr. Copeland's sister, stating that she has heard that Shannon got shot at because he killed Nutt, is close to the quote. It's based on speculation and hearsay. It's obviously very prejudicial to my client. So I would ask that if Mr. Williams or if Mr. Steele, on behalf of Mr. Williams, is to publish JW 250B, that the times between 1605 and 1629 be redacted to take that segment out.
All right. Any response, Mr. Steele? Any objection to that part coming out? Okay. Thank you. All right. Anything else? All right. Any other matters? Okay. All right, then let's get Mr. Copeland and the jury in.
All right, Missouri.
Thank you. All right, you may proceed, Mr. Steele.
Mr. Copeland, do you remember saying on when being asked questions by Ms. Hilton that Mr. Turner or Threat asked you to go with him, and you and Mr. Turner fired ammunition or bullets into the barbershop of Rich Homicwan's father? Do you remember that?
Can you ask me again?
Yes, sir. Do you remember telling the jury that you and Mr. Turner, Threat, went to the barbershop of Rich Homicwan's father and fired bullets into that barbershop?
What about it?
One more time.
What about it?
Do you remember saying that?
Out of frustration?
Yes.
Yeah.
And when you did that, do you know whether there were people inside that barbershop at that time?
I don't recall.
Do you remember telling District Attorney Hilton before you started to testify on Friday, June 7, 2024? I asked you this before, but I'm going to ask you again, okay? Before, when you first came into the jury to testify, before June 7, 2024, so before that date, do you remember telling District Attorney Hilton that there was a video of you and others saying, "We killed Nut," may exist? Do you remember saying that?
I don't recall.
Did you tell District Attorney Hilton that?
Did I tell her what?
That there's a video with you and others admitting that you killed Donovan, Nut, but Donovan Thomas.
I can't remember if I told her.
All right, let me go into this. I want to ask you about Jeffrey Williams or JW (240P) as in perfect, and that states exhibit number 378YE. So, Mr. Copeland, that's going to be the June 10, 2015 interrogation or interview with the police. And it's at 248:22 through 248:57. And this goes into you stating that when you pulled up, you told Deshawn is your child's mother, right? That's
right.
Her name. Okay. That I was like, she got in the car. She was at her friend's house. This is on January 10, 2015. You're recounting. She got in the car. You said, "Man, these ends just killed Nut, bro." She like, "Who?" I told her, "It's Thug in them." She like, "Huh? What happened?" Like, SHI, I don't know. D just got in the car and like, SHI, boy, they just, you know what I mean? They just told me that. So she like, "What you gonna do?" "What the F you mean what I'm going to do? I ain't got nothing to do with this, SHI." She like, "Yeah, you know, like we all know they was going to say my name." So I was like, "I don't know." So we got in the car and we rode home. Okay? I'd like you to listen to make sure I said that right, if you don't mind listening.
Y'all ain't got any son. So my brother told what they son was like. She got in the car. She was at her friend's house. She got in the car. And he need to chill play, bro. She like, who? I told her. She throw it down. She like, huh, what happened? I said, I don't know. DJ got in the car like shit. But it, you know what I mean? They told me like it. So she like, what you gonna do? What the fuck you mean what I'm gonna do? I ain't had nothing to do with this shit. She's like, yeah, you know it. Like, we all know they gonna say my name. So I was like, I don't know. So we got in the car. We drove home.
Did you hear that? Did I say it accurately?
Sound like it.
Okay. And do you remember telling the police that, and then they spoke with Ms. Quarterman or Deshawn? You're aware of that, you said earlier, right?
They did?
Yeah, you're aware that she would call them for you, text message them.
Oh, yeah.
Collect calls. Never corroborated or never asked about that, right? As far as you know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. All right. Your Honor, may I have 1 second?
Sure.
I apologize. Okay. The next one, we discussed already, I believe. No one ever, you told the police that on June 10, 2015, that from the McDonald's, me and him get on the expressway, boom, and they are following y'all in the Nitro. Asked the detective, you said, yeah, no. They told us to follow them. So you're following them, the detective said, and you said, yeah. But when D told me this, oh, H-E-L-L, no, I ain't fixing to follow them. But D didn't get out of the car with me, but I'm trying to trick D so I can see what the H-E-L-L is going on. Boom, so we followed them to Thug's house. They stayed downtown at the Sky House. I'm going to play for you, make sure that's right. Jeffrey Williams or JW240Q. State's exhibit number 378YE. It's the June 10, 2015 interview. It's from 9:58:12 to 9:58:39.
So we will get on the spiller. Wait, are they following y'all? Yeah. Nah, they told us to follow them. Okay, so y'all follow them. Yeah, but when you told me, hell no, I ain't gonna follow them. But I had to even get out the car. I'm trying to keep these, I see what the hell going on. Boom. So we followed them to the door. They stayed downtown on the Sky House.
What I said, was that fairly accurate?
He said, I told you. I heard it, but man, I have to tell the police anything.
And the truth is, you didn't follow Jeffrey Williams to Sky House.
I don't remember that night. So much going on. I don't know what happened that night.
When I say follow to Jeffrey Williams Sky House from the McDonald's,
What I'm saying is, so much what happened that night. I can't say I was all over the place. I don't remember exactly what happened that night.
Let me ask you this. Did you ever drive by at any time, the scene where the barbershop is, where Donovan Thomas was shot and killed on January 10th, 2015?
What you mean?
Did you, at any time, I understand there was a lot going on, but did you drive by the scene? You know where Donovan Thomas was shot? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
One more time?
I said, I know what you're talking about.
Okay. Did you, on January 10th, 2015, drive by that street where he was shot?
I can't recall.
Okay. Let's do this. Did the police, detectives, federal, anybody, district attorney's office ever come to you and inquire of you whether or not your phone records show from the McDonald's area, cell phone tower, to the Sky House? Did they ever ask you about your phone records to see if it tracks what you told the police?
They never told me nothing about my phone at all.
Okay. All right. I want to talk with you about the meeting with Detective Thorpe. So it's about 7-8 hours after the shooting of Donovan Thomas, January 11th, 2015. Your Honor, this is Jeffrey Williams, or JW 241D, as in David. And this is State's Exhibit number 378YA, as in Elisa. It's 3:18:50 a.m. to 3:20:42 a.m. And Mr. Copeland, if you could just listen for this, and if I said it wrong, just tell the jurors I got it wrong. You're in with Detective Thorpe, January 11, 2015, and Detective Thorpe is asking you, who is Walter Lee Maddox? And you said, who? Walter Lee Maddox, the detective said. You said, I don't know. Nickname? Detective said, did you all ever rent or own an Infiniti? You said, an Infiniti. Detective Thorpe said, did you all ever rent or own one of those cars before? You say no. You deny it. Detective Thorpe said, have you been stopped in an Infiniti before? You said, have I? No. Detective Thorpe said, have you been stopped in an accident in an Infiniti? You said no. Detective Thorpe said something, I don't know, you could tell us if you can recognize it. You said, have I ever had a car break-in? No, let me think. You talk about this year? Detective Thorpe said, anytime. You said, I had a car break in a Pontiac. That was a couple of years ago. Detective Thorpe asked you, what kind of car does your brother drive? You said, a white Dodge Charger. That's the truck he gave me. You said, Detective Thorpe rather said, does your brother got two cars? You says, nah, his girl got a car, and that the car he got, the Dodge Charger, and she got the ugly little Malibu, like 19-something. Detective Thorpe said, a 2014 Dodge Charger. You said yes. Detective Thorpe said, white. You said yes. Who drives a Nissan? Detective Thorpe asked. You said, a Nissan, what color? Detective Thorpe said, it is gray. You said, I don't drive no Nissan. Detective Thorpe said, okay, y'all ever have an Infiniti Gray Q45 before? You said a truck. Detective Thorpe said no. You said a car, not that I know of. I want you to listen to this if you don't mind. Tell me if I did that wrong.
Who's Walter Lee Maddox? Who? Who's Walter Maddox? Huh? No, y'all. Did y'all ever rent or own an Infiniti? Infiniti. Y'all ever rent one of those cars before? Have you ever been stopped in an Infiniti before? Have I? Yeah. Had an accident in an Infiniti? No. A maximum? Have I ever had a car break-in? No. in the Pontiac. That was a couple years ago. I ain't had no coverage. I ain't had no registry. I ain't have none of it. Gotta call your brother, John. Oh, who was that in there? A white Dodge Charge. This truck car he gave me. Your brother got 2 cars? Nah, his girl got a car in the car. He got the Dodge Charge. Oh. And she got the little ugly little Malibu. Like a 19 something. 2014 Dodge Charge? Yeah. White? Yeah. We drive a Nissan. A Nissan? What color? What color is it? Gray. I like that on Nissan. Okay. Y'all ever had a Infinity Gray? A gray Infinity Q45 before? A truck? No. A cup? Yeah. Not I know of.
Were you able to hear that, sir?
I think we all heard.
Okay, similar to what I said?
Huh?
Similar to what I said?
I guess.
Okay. Mr. Copeland, you referred to Detective Thorpe as a squirrel brain. Do you remember that earlier in the testimony? Do you remember saying something like that?
Yeah.
And by approximately 3 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, January 11, 2015, so within 8 hours approximately of Mr. Donovan Thomas being shot, Detective Thorpe is asking you specific pointed questions about you in a rental gray Infinity sedan. Do you realize that?
You said, do I realize it?
Yeah.
What you mean?
That's what he was doing. You understand that he was asking you about a rental Infinity within 8 hours of the shooting of Donovan Thomas.
Right.
And you denied any dealing with an Infinity vehicle rental, right?
Right.
And that's not true, right?
What you mean?
You were dealing with a rental Infinity vehicle.
I was?
Yeah, weren't you?
I don't recall.
The car that you were driving that Jeffrey Williams rented for you was, do you know that type of car that was? Or he testified to?
What about him renting the car for him?
Sustained.
Okay. The car you were driving that you announced that you gave to Threat or Mr. Turner, do you know what type of car, rental car that was?
No.
Okay. Okay. Did the police ever come back to you and ask you about Walter Lee Harvey again? To your knowledge?
I still don't know who that is.
Okay. Did the police ever come back to you and talk with you about wrecking that 2015 Infinity vehicle? Besides this?
No.
Now, you have used other people's, like when other people rent cars, you know, Miss Quarterman's mother rented cars, allowed you and Miss Quarterman to use. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Just do me a courtesy, I apologize, but for the court.
Oh, yes.
Okay. And that would be in Miss Quarterman's mother's name, the rental car. You're aware of that, right?
Right.
And I want you to listen to, if you don't mind, J.W. Jeffrey Williams 240R as in righteous, states exhibit number 378YE as in Aaron. It's also June 10th, 2015. Meeting or interrogation by the police, 11:33:17 a.m. to 11:34:10 a.m. And I'm just going to tell you and just make sure this is what it says. You said that I didn't break in these cars. I wasn't even with them. I just gave them the car. Detective said, but you said, but for what reason though? because they was going to do some stupid SHI blank to get some money. Detective Dennis said something, I don't know what it is, so you could help us if you don't mind. You said, I knew they were fixing to go. Detective Gaither said, you knew they were going to do a job. You ain't what exact job it was. And then there's overlapping, meaning everyone's talking at one time. Detective Gaither said, but you know what an effing job is. You said, I just. Detective Gaither says, you know they ain't going to church. You said, I was just looking at like SHI. I ain't doing it. I ain't getting in trouble behind it. That's how I was really looking at it. Detective Gaither says, but you're still effing up Deshaun. Because if something else would have happened in that effing car, that truck is in her mama's name. Detective Dennis said, what if they did a robbery? You said, like I told them. Detective Gaither said, and it's the first report. Detective Dennis said, right. Detective Gaither said, we found. Detective Dennis said, we ain't even check. And you said, what I'm saying, no. What I'm saying, I already told them. I said, look, y'all, this car is Deshaun Mama name. You feel what I'm saying? I just said it like that. I said, it's in her mama name. She's gonna tell the police if y'all do anything. I did it. And I'm saying, y'all, I ain't going down for nobody else. I told her just like that. Just listen to it and make sure that what I said was fairly accurate.
That ain't my fault that you did that. No, I didn't bring any car. I wasn't even with them. I just stayed in the car. But for what reason though? Because you knew they was going to do some stupid shit to get the money. I knew they was going to go. You knew they was going to do a jug. You ain't know what the exact jug was, but you know what the fucking jug is. You know they ain't going to church. I know I won't get this. I just looked at it like shit. I ain't doing it. I ain't gonna get in trouble behind. That's how I'm just looking at it. But you is still fucking up their shot because something else would happen in that fucking car. That truck is in her mama's name.
What if they did a robbery?
Like I told you. And this is just the first report we found.
And you can check them.
What I'm saying, I told him, I said, look, the car is your mama's name. You know what I'm saying? I said, it's your mama's name. She gonna tell the police, if y'all do anything, I did. And I'm letting y'all know I ain't going out for nobody else. I told him just like that.
Is it fair what I said? That's what you all are talking about?
That's what it sounds like.
So, even though it was, and Deshaun and you have a special relationship. I mean, you share a child or children, right?
Yes, a child.
Okay. And you're aware that her mother is renting a car in her mother's name, letting you use it, and Deshaun, or excuse me, Miss Carterman, and it's used for criminal conduct by stealing people's cell phones, laptops, breaking into cars. You're aware of that, right?
I don't know.
You're aware on June 10, 2015, when the police came to arrest you, they searched that rental car in Deshaun Quarterman's mother's name and found other people's cellular telephones, laptops, identifications. You're aware of that, right?
Yeah, after they locked me up.
Okay. And you were involved in breaking into those cars and stealing, using her mother, Deshaun Quarterman's mother's rental car, right?
Objection, Your Honor. Assume effect's not in evidence.
I'm asking him a question.
I think he just answered it.
Right?
They charged me.
Okay. Why, I just ask you, why would you be entrusted by somebody? They were doing you a favor with a rental car in their name. Why would you go out and commit a crime while using someone else's rental car?
I don't get what you're asking me.
Did you ever think? Did you ever think about the lives that you were affecting by committing crime in a rental car in someone else's name?
Objection, Your Honor. Assume effect's not in evidence. Rule 611, Rule 24-6-611.
How about relevance?
And relevance.
Did it ever occur to you that you can get other people in trouble?
Objection relevant.
Sustained.
All right. I'd like to talk with you about Jeffrey Williams exhibit number 240S, as in Samantha. This is at State's exhibit number 378YE, as in Aaron. It's June 10, 2015 interrogation. It's at 10:00:31 a.m. to 10:00:46 a.m. And please listen and make sure that what I'm announcing is accurate. You're talking about, if you remember, and you'll listen to it, O.G. Bentley. Do you know the name Kelvin Treadwell? Do you know O.G. Bentley by a government name? Do you know who that person is?
I don't even know who O.G. Bentley is.
Okay. All right. Where you said, you feel what I'm saying? This is what D's saying. Bentley's supposed to went and hid the car and the guns. Detective said, where? You said, I ain't never heard it. Like, they just cut me off. They seen all the police just kept coming at me, talking to me. I want you to listen to this if that's what you said, okay?
You know what I'm saying? This what he said. Bentley supposed to went to hit the car and the guns. Where I ain't never heard. Like it just cut me out. Like this ain't our police just kept coming at me and talking to me.
Did the police or the prosecution ever come to you and say, hey, we would like to talk to you about corroborating or supporting or verifying what you told us here? Did that ever happen?
Can you say it again?
Yeah. When you're telling the police that O.G. Bentley supposedly hit a car and guns, did the police ever come to you or the district attorney's office and say, we want to talk to you about that statement and see if we could verify it? Did they ever do that?
Then I said to the police, they came back to me and asked me to verify whatever word you using. They never, after I said what I said to them, that was it. I didn't hear nothing else from them until I was back in handcuffs.
Okay. Yesterday, you were shown State's Exhibit number 22CC. Could you help me out if you don't mind? Thank you. It should be the nitro. You know what I'm talking about? Yes. This is already in evidence, Your Honor.
Right.
Ms. Person. Ms. Perfect. Thank you. If you could just blow up the actual image. Mr. Copeland, if you were showing this yesterday, this should be State's Exhibit number 22CC, as in Colette, and the state asked you about the vehicle, which should be on the left of your screen, and they identified it as a white Nitro, I believe. Do you remember this from yesterday by any chance?
Yeah, I seen it. Yeah.
Now, I just want to make sure the jurors know, and if you could make it smaller. This is not the Texaco gas station that you were showing pictures of with the Infiniti and the Pontiac and the gentleman walking into the convenience store. This is a totally different gas station. Do you recognize that?
I don't know what he said.
I just want to make sure that there was clarity. Do you know where this gas station is by any chance, just from looking around? Just from looking at 22cc?
You said, do I know the area?
Yeah, do you recognize that at all?
Yeah, I know the area.
Okay. Is that in the same area, vicinity as the Texaco gas station that's next to the barbershop where Mr. Donovan Thomas was killed?
No.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure the jurors weren't confused, or that we didn't confuse the jurors. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Knight. Now, the state also showed you yesterday a photograph. It's 10cc, as in Colette. I'd like to show that again, and it is in evidence already, Your Honor. And if you could blow it up, if you don't mind. Do you remember seeing this yesterday by any chance, Mr. Copeland? Do you remember being shown?
I don't see that.
Oh, it's not on your screen? It might be, it's behind you.
Yeah, I see it now.
Okay. And the gentleman in the white shirt, kind of in the center but left of the screen, do you know that person?
No, I don't know that person.
Okay.
Trying with the white shirt or the black shirt? I don't know neither one of those.
Okay. That doesn't, being shown that yesterday by the district attorney?
Let me be clear.
Yes, sir.
I see him around, but I don't know him.
Okay, thank you. But that doesn't verify any of your statements to the police, does it?
Huh?
Objection, improper question, Your Honor.
I'm not sure he can answer that question.
Do you believe that by seeing that picture of that person, whoever it is, the person you see around sometimes, did that in any way verify what you told the police?
I mean, that's basically just, you put a do you believe in front of it, but what he believes about it isn't relevant.
Did the police ever do anything to show you, or the district attorney, to corroborate your statement to the police? I understand what you're saying, that it was made up. But did they ever do anything to try to tie it to that person? Did the police ever do that to you? Or the district attorney's office?